So now that I'm here at my destination, my plan is to unpack and relax. I got onto one plane, was worried I wasn't going to get onto that plane because they had overbooked by one and they hadn't assigned me a seat. And so finally, after people already started boarding, they assigned me a seat, even though I had gotten my tickets through Travelocity many months ago. So I got onto that plane, and the turbulence going down into Denver was very bad. It's the worst turbulence I've ever experienced, and my palms got sweaty. I was praying really hard. Babies were crying. So we landed safely, but there was no place for the plane to park because all the parking spots were taken. So we had to wait in the plane for a parking spot to open, and it did, and we ferried over to that parking spot. But I had a half-hour layover time between my first plane and my second plane, and so the delay made my layover time even less. So I got out of the plane, I went to a customer service lady and asked her, where is my next gate? Because it didn't say on my ticket which gate I had to go to for my second plane. And she said, she typed it in, and she goes, oh, you need to move fast. It's leaving in 15 minutes, or it's closing its doors in 15 minutes. It's at gate 92, and this is gate 34. So it's 60 gates down. So I ran for 10 minutes, and I'm a little bit out of shape because all I've been doing is sitting on my butt and studying. So, like, my throat was burning, and my heart was racing, and by the time that I got there, it was 8 minutes to spare before they closed the boarding. And in fact, when I ran up, they were already calling my name. They were saying, if you are here, board now because we are closing our boarding gate, or whatever they say. Again, if you are here, please board. So I was like, here I am. I got on, and everybody was waiting in the plane, looking at me as I boarded. I was worried that turbulence would be terrible going up out of Denver too, but it wasn't. It was fine, but it was a much smaller plane. And then there was a lightning storm. I don't know if it's okay for a plane to get hit by lightning, but since I don't know, and I was just imagining that it's probably not good for a plane to get hit by lightning, I was quite worried because it looked like it was just underneath the wing, practically. My wing, the left wing.
It was pretty freaky.
Then, shortly thereafter, we landed in Lubbock. I got my rental car. I'm going to text my family and watch some TV and relax. And then tomorrow, my first test is at 4 p.m. So I'm going to study super hard for the whole day until 3-ish, and then I'm going to go to my test. And then I'm going to come home and I'm going to keep studying, etc., 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 etc. I'm feeling pretty good. I'll feel better when I study even more. There are things I could have done earlier that would make me even more prepared for this test. I just need to pull it all together and really make sure that my weak areas, that I have them really nailed down, because I don't want to make any mistakes on my CPNE. And ideally, I don't want to have to do any repeats because I want to have that extra cushion of knowing that I'm doing my best, but if I fail, I still have one extra retake that I can do. I don't want to be at the point where I'm using my retake. Good morning. time to get some complimentary breakfast. The breakfast, nice and full. And now I opened up my windows and I believe that is the hospital I'll be going to. Okay guys, I'm about to go to my lab sim station / orientation to the CPNE, where I'm going to meet my clinical examiner, and I think either get a tour or be able to ask questions. But I am in business casual. Happens to be all black because that's what I had, but I'm just gonna say I feel great. I feel great. I am gonna totally nail this, and I don't have to worry about repeating or anything like that. I'm just going to take it slow. I know how to do this. I know what to do. I know the steps. I just need to chill, slow down, and go step by step. Keep my head about me. I prayed already. I'm gonna pray some more. I'm gonna nail it, and then this part of the CPNE is going to be over. Hey guys, so I passed day 1. I passed the lab sim stations. So I'm counting that as 2 tests. I passed my first 2 tests of the weekend, which was the wound station and the medication station, neither of which were easy. They were not easy, they were hard, and they were super intense and nerve-wracking. I'm sorry I'm not making this any easier, but yeah, it was, you know, practice and you will be fine. I practiced, and I feel like I even could have practiced more, but honestly, even with practicing more, it wouldn't have sped me up at all, because I still was moving at the highest clip that my hands can move at. So I don't feel like I was hurt by not studying more, but I would have been if I had forgotten something, which there was a higher probability of forgetting something because I wanted to have practiced each lab sim station 100 times, and I only practiced, each one a lot less than 100 times. So, but I passed, and I used, you have 30 minutes for sterile station, and you have 35 minutes for medication station, and I used my time up to the last minute on both of them, but I passed both of them, and there were 6 of us there, and not everybody passed every station. I don't even honestly know if there were some that didn't pass either, because I was just so entrenched in focusing on my own stuff. But I know that it looked like 2 people failed the medication station, one of whom was crying about it, and I feel really bad for her. So I'm really happy I made it through the first day, and I got goodies. So I went to a Cajun restaurant. My husband suggested that I go to a Cajun restaurant since I'm in Texas. And I got, this is the first time I'm seeing it, I got, ooh, it is blackened. Blackened catfish. That's some blackened catfish, all right. And dirty rice, which is just seasoned rice. But I was going for the most ethnic stuff I could find. Just a few doors down from that was this beauty. Lovely. My favorite dessert of all time. So, I'm gonna watch some TV. Not sure what this is, but it looks funny. Maybe it has some characters from The Office anyway. He's from The Office and he's from The Office. I like The Office. I don't know what this is, but you can see my spread. This is my study spread for the weekend. This is what happens if you are studying up to the last minute. So I have my travel pile here. So it has my car rental information and my flight information. I have infection control here in case there's anything I need to look up about, how many seconds to wash my hands and stuff. And then up there I have the basics, like what to wear when I go into the CPNE and what the times are for things, and like when to arrive at stuff, and the difference between a CA and a CE. So those kind of basics. And then here I have some printed pages from the 22nd edition of the CPNE study. So just stuff that I wanted to be able to review. Here's my practice nursing care plans. And then this is my fluid management pile. So I have lots of printed out ones that I can write on and practice with tonight, probably more than I need. And then this is my Cardex station, so what I will be assigned to do on the Cardex, and I have lots of blank ones of those so I can practice with that. And then this is PCS 1, so that's going to be starting tomorrow. So that's patient care scenario 1, and I have my notes on what happens with that. And then I have the few lab stuff that I brought for practicing. So I have regular gloves, sterile gloves, and a few alcohol swabs. And then I have the snacks, because they say to bring some snacks to the Saturday and Sunday because you're going to be waiting between students. So I have chocolate and crackers. And then here was my study area for what I did today. So I had my MAR, and I highlighted what things I'm going to fill out first, and then the water was simulated to wash my hands, and then glove up, and then this was here, ID my patient, and then fill in indications, and I had that one that I could write on below it, and then I had some memory sheets there. And this was the lab sim notes I had written out as far as what happens and what to expect. And this was my blank of what the documentation sheet is going to look like. And then up there I have notes from Excelsior on what stuff you need to document for each station. Up there is notes about the sterile station. And up here is just me highlighting today's date, so day 1 out of day 2 and 3. So this is day 1 and what's going on day 1. And so this section over here, minus the breadsticks and the Cinnabon and the sweet tea, was my practice station for this morning. So now I get to throw a lot of that stuff out and consolidate, because I want my luggage to be a little bit lighter on the flight home than it was here. So I can throw out lots of extra papers that I'm not going to use. So right now I'm going to sit down on the bed and eat my blackened chicken deliciousness and my Cinnabon deliciousness and some bread and sweet tea and watch TV and chill out for a few minutes. I might give myself it's 8:30 already. I'll give myself half an hour or so to just relax and laugh at the TV. And then I'm going to be doing a little bit more cramming. And then tomorrow is 7:15 start. So first day has gone beautifully. Hey guys! So I finished day 1. I have a smile on my face because I passed both patient care scenarios, PCSs, on the first try with no repeats, and it feels really great to have that done with. So I'm done with my adult patients. Tomorrow all I have to do is pass 1 pediatric patient care scenario, and then I am done. Was not easy. at least 3 out of the 6 of us had to repeat, which means that they have to take on a third patient and take care of the third patient, doing a whole new set of assignments for that patient, and hope that they do that one successfully. And if they don't do that one successfully, then they go home, or they can't test anymore. So at least 3 people had to retest. And so tomorrow when I go in, perhaps I will find out if any of those people didn't make it, but hopefully they all did. Hopefully it was just nerves for the first patient care scenario that they went through. But I'm really happy that I didn't have to be on the edge of my seat wondering if I was going to fail a first patient care scenario, and then I'm doing the second one and wondering if I'm going to fail that one, and then I would go home. I'm really glad that I didn't have to be in that position. And then also what it means is I obviously didn't have to repeat, so I didn't have to go through yet a third patient, and this is it's a lot of stuff that you do. So I'm all done with day 1. It was a success, and I'm done with my adult patients. My pediatric patient tomorrow, I'm a little bit more worried about. I'm really hoping that it's somebody who's 8 years old or above, or even 6 or 7 years old or above, because I'm not used to working with really young kids or infants. And 8 years old and plus is a little bit more towards the not adult side, but not as many specific different things, they can communicate well and things like that. So I'm just a little bit anxious about caring for an infant or a really young child, just because that's not my area of experience. But I'm just going to keep my head on my shoulders and do the same thing tomorrow that I did today, which is just be very methodical and use my mnemonics and keep referring to my mnemonics. And what I learned with my first PCS today was I almost ran out of time to document. I had 10 minutes to document my first one, and then they were kind enough to give me 5 extra minutes, and I was able to squeeze in everything I needed in those extra minutes. But it was by the hair of my chin. So I almost didn't make the first one just because I didn't leave enough time for myself for documenting. But I did a really good job with the patient. She felt, I think, I took really good care of her. And the thing was, I was going at a slow pace, making sure I did everything well, and I explained things to her, and it was a leisurely, I'm taking care of you, and let me do the best job I can, and let me look at this, and adjust this. And so I did a really good job with her, and my clinical examiner told me that I did a really good job, or she said you did a great job with her. So she appreciated my caregiving skills, my bedside manner and all that. But it still wouldn't have mattered if I didn't finish documenting in time. So I just barely passed that one as far as being cut off by the time goes. So then the second one went a lot faster, and I had about 40 or 45 minutes to document. So that was a lot better. I did really good, thorough documentation with that one in, good handwriting, as opposed to my first patient care scenario was, scribbling it all out. So my second one, I finished everything a lot faster, and I was able to do everything by going into the room once. I never had to leave the room once during that whole second patient care scenario. And the clinical examiner on that one, it was a different clinical examiner. So I did the whole thing, and I did my documentation, and then she was really impressed, which I was excited about. And she said that I'm so organized, and that she loves my documentation because I made it really easy for her to just check all the boxes off of everything that needed to be documented. And she said that I'm an overachiever, and that I did so amazing with that PCS. So that was really cool. So I am really happy about today. It was a success. I am going to finish my leftovers from yesterday. I'm going to finish my catfish and my leftover Cinnabon. I'm going to watch TV. I'm going to relax for a few hours, and then I'm going to study some more. And, YouTube, if there's anything specific I need to take into consideration for children and babies as far as nursing care goes. And go to sleep earlier tonight than I did last night, hopefully, which was 11 p.m. last night, and I got up at 5 to get ready. Get a good night's sleep. Tomorrow, hopefully, do a good job and pass on my first try with my first pediatric patient, and then be done with the weekend. That's my hope and my plan and my prayer. Morning of testing. Feeling pretty good about it. Just gotta keep my head on my shoulders and do what I did yesterday, and it will be great. Hey guys, this is right outside of my hotel. I just left my hotel. Look at that second one there. Yay, double rainbows! Hey guys, I passed. I just got back to the hotel. Just drove from the hospital. Me and another girl, we passed. And I'm guessing that a third girl did. To me, it looked like 3 out of the 6 of us didn't make it to today because I didn't see them. I just saw me and 2 other people. I know for sure that one of those other 2 people passed, and then the second person I'm not sure about, but it's done, and it was hard, but it is done. I'm so excited, and took pictures with the chipmunks in Lubbock, Covenant Children's Hospital. And I'll post that picture right now. And I am just super excited. I'm going to get my scrubs off. I'm gonna get into regular people clothes. I'm gonna send some texts, because even my hubby and my family, they don't know yet. I just wanted to get to the hotel and take off my scrubs and choose my favorite pictures of the 10 that were taken, the celebration pictures. Me and another girl passed at the same time, so we took each other's pictures. So I'm gonna choose my favorite picture and edit it and then send it to my group text and bask in the knowledge that it is done. So I didn't have to repeat any PCSs, which was really awesome. And I got a nice compliment from the CE for not having had to repeat any. So that feels good. So I'm gonna do what I said, and then I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna get my hair cut because I have lots of split ends, and then I'm going to a restaurant and turn on my happy music and just celebrate. And then tonight I'm gonna pack, and tomorrow I'm gonna go home on the plane. So thank you for coming with me on the journey that I've been through. There's this quote that I have been having circulating in my mind, which is from the struggle to the reckoning. So from the struggle to the reckoning, that's what just happened. And everybody, all the 6 of us who have gone through this experience have agreed that it was not easy, but my CA wanted me to get out on the internet that, she doesn't know that I do vlogs, but what she said to me when I passed is, see, you can pass this thing on the first try. Post that on the internet, is what she said. Because obviously out on the internet, there's a lot of true comments about how it is hard to pass. But yes, you can pass it the first time. I highly recommend Rob's review. If it were not for Rob's review, I would not have passed. 100% for sure. But dedicate yourself to Rob's review, dedicate yourself to memorizing the mnemonics and practicing with your dummy, and that's how I did it, and then you will pass. Just keep a calm head. When you get to the test, if you have done Rob's review and you have memorized the stuff and you practice the stuff, just tell yourself, I know how to do this. I know what to do. I just have to do it and not accidentally slip up and skip doing something. And then time management is another important thing, like I talked about. Allow yourself enough time to document at the end of your PCS, because you don't want the timer to end and you haven't documented everything. That's part of the deal in order to pass, is that you've documented all of your critical elements. And so if you don't do that, then you could have done everything else perfectly, but if you didn't document fully, then you could potentially not pass, which did happen to somebody else who was with me, that she failed a PCS because she forgot to document something. And pray. I did a lot of praying during this whole trip. I got on my knees more than once to sincerely ask God to help me, because if you want to be a hero and think that you can do all this without God, then that's fine. It's your own choice. I invited God to help me because I don't need to be able to say that I did everything on my own without any grace from God, without any help from above. I'm fine giving credit to God, it's His credit to have. He helped me through this. I prayed that He remind me of if there's something that I'm forgetting, that He put it into my mind. I prayed that He give me presence of mind and focus, that I would be able to do everything in a steady, organized way and keep my head about me, that He would make me notice things that needed noticing, and He did. And I done good with grace from above. So you can do this. Just work hard. It's not easy, but it is passable, and you just need the right tools to do it. Get onto Rob's review, and I'll put a link to his website below. Use his tools, memorize stuff, practice with your dummy. And Rob is available at any time. I have texted him. I did the Facebook messaging is how I just happened to communicate with him, but he also does texts to his cell phone. And I messaged him so much. I know he's sick of me, absolutely, but he never let on. He was never rude. He never acted impatient. He was always kind and helpful and answered my questions in a timely manner. I sent him about 4 to 5 questions every single week for the last few months, I would say. And he was gracious and professional and helpful with all of those questions. So he's awesome on a professional level, and in an intellectual level. He knows his stuff, and he's a great teacher. So I highly recommend him. And Rob, if you happen to be watching this, thank you so much, because you made this moment possible. So thank you for your program. Tea, shrimp rolls, curry with broccoli and bamboo shoots and tofu, and hot and sour soup.